Ay, caramba!
Ah! Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called Noosphere from the video game Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus, or Warhammer 40k. This is a request that I am really excited for because for a change, let's say, once every once in a million years, let's say, I am actually very acquainted with this. I mean, I'm not even acquainted. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k. More Warhammer 40k than Warhammer Fantasy for sure. But I am extremely happy and glad that this was requested because I've been wanting to do a breakdown for a Warhammer a song, you know, for a long time. So this is another coffee personal request that I had scheduled for this month. And this is from Cody. And the comment says, "Hello Atlas. Thank you for your patience. I've never worked with coffee before. The song I'm requesting is called Noosphere from the game Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus. This game is focused around the Adeptus Mechanicus, otherwise known as the Tech Priests of Mars. The soundtrack as a whole does a lot of unique things, and I think this song in particular brings a lot of it. I am interested in what you have to say about it. Thank you for all that you do. I love your content. Thank you." Well, thank you, Cody, for your request and your incredible support. And also, thank you for requesting Warhammer 40,000 song also, of course. So yeah, Cody gave us a little bit of context into, you know, a little bit of the storytelling behind the game, which is about this faction that is within, let's say, the Empire of Men, or the Imperium of Men, I should say, which is one of the factions that you encounter in the universe of Warhammer 40k, which is basically the humans, alright? But before we begin, I would like to invite you to check my newest merch, which is inspired by BERSERK and Dark Souls. And if you make a purchase, you have a chance to be a feature in the channel. The only thing you have to do is take a picture with what you bought and send it to the contact email that is in the description of this video, and I'll put you in the intro of one of my videos. And also, please check my newest track, which is also a BERSERK inspired track called Conceived in Blood, which is actually the song that you have been listening in the background of the intro of this video. So if you have been enjoying the song so far and you would like to hear the full song, I'm going to leave it in this card right here, but also I'm going to leave the link in the description of the video, right? So with that being said, onward. Okay, so this is Noosphere from Warhammer 40k Mechanicus, original soundtrack. Boom. Very synthetic so far. Goes very well, of course, with the lore of the Adeptus Mechanicus. We hear a choir and an organ. This part is really cool. Ah! The low end is insane. Ah! It built the energy and then released it. Very cool. This organ arrangement is so good. Yeah, this uses Adeptus Mechanicus. Listen to the chord progression in the organ. Amazing. Interesting. Very subtle way to build the tension again. Oh! It's a variation. Wow. Okay, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. There we have it, yeah? Yeah, there we have it. All right. The ending. I will talk more in depth about that in the breakdown, but I couldn't figure out where the song was going. At the end, I heard of the variation in the organ arrangement, and but then it changed completely towards the resolution of the song, which I didn't know where it was going to go though. So that was pretty cool. But certainly, the first thing that I want to say before we go into the breakdown is that, yes, the song is very well composed to tell the story about the Adeptus Mechanicus, and that's something that I'm going to be touching in the breakdown too. So let's break it down. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to mention is that maybe you did notice this also by yourself, but the song as a whole has a lot of synthetic elements, right? A lot of synthesizers, drum samples everywhere, and there were only two elements that played a part in the composition that you could consider them as being organic or more on the organic side, which were the organ and the choirs. Okay, and I think this amount of balance. I mean, remember that balance doesn't mean to me like it's always 50% of something and 50% of something. I would say the balance of something could be like 80% something here and 20% something here, and that's the right balance for that song, okay, in particular. So the balance of synthetic elements in regards to the organic elements, it's in the sweet spot, in my opinion, for this song specifically, but also for the premise of the Adeptus Mechanicus, because maybe here is where I am going to give you a little bit of context in regards to the lore of this faction within the Warhammer 40k universe, because the Adeptus Mechanicus, even though it is to a certain degree within the Imperium of Man, which is the overarching or umbrella faction that encompasses all humanity, the Adeptus Mechanicus has something very much in particular, and it is that they worship technology, basically. In fact, they think that human flesh is inferior, and they think that humans should strive to become machines, essentially, to transcend flesh and become metal, or something along those lines, right? I think of it this way: if a tech priest, which is one of the members of the Adeptus Mechanicus, saw a Terminator, they would cream their pants. That's why they strive for, the becoming a machine. They think the machines are the ultimate evolution state, let's say. Something along those lines. So, as a consequence, they strive to merge themselves with technology the most they can, like at the of how much their current technology allows them to be intertwined with actually machinery, AI. So that's those sort of things. All the way, the AI, artificial intelligence is quite a topic within the Imperium of Man. But of course, I'm not going to touch that. Adeptus Mechanicus, all about technology, right? So they even worship the machine god, or the Omnissiah. They believe there's the god of the machines, and they believe also that all pieces of machinery have a machine spirit. So you can adding this particular sort of theological sort of perspective into a faction that is very much into technology and science and knowledge and so on and so forth is kind of counterintuitive, right? But they work in this universe because, well, Warhammer 40k is that awesome. But why is it important to mention these two things? You know, the technology worshipping and also the worshipping of a deity within that realm. Well, it is because, like I said before, the song is very much synthetic, right? A lot of synthetic elements of it. I would say it's 80% of the song. You know, the drum samples, the synthesizers, and even the organic elements within the song have some sort of digitized sort of sound to them. So, but they are for the most part trying to tell the organic side of what the Adeptus Mechanicus is, which is of course humans trying to become machines. So of course, you know, the synthetic elements of the song, this is a very there's a lot of, not a lot of arrangements, but a lot of presence of low end in meaning bass and sub bass. So that's why you hear that the song sounds really heavy in some parts, because again, and this is all synthetic, of course, synthetic bass and synthetic sub bass. It all adds to the premise of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and because the Adeptus Mechanicus is quite an important faction within the Warhammer 40k universe, but also for the Imperium of Man. So much so that they make all their weapons, basically. And they also make these huge, incredibly absurd machines of war called the Titans. Which are these huge machines, probably the uttermost biggest machines that there are, or some of the biggest machines that you will find in this universe, and they make them. So thinking about even the tiniest servitor towards even the biggest machines, they have them all, right? So the low end presence in the song, you know, the bass and sub bass, that is not necessarily like super intricate arrangements, you know. They are the bass or the low end, I would say, to put it in general terms, is very has this swooning kind of slurring presence within the song, because this song is very much like probably has a little bit of an ambient sort of thing imbued into it, but also is how it tells the story of the Adeptus Mechanicus, you know. Remember that I'm going to come back a little bit into the lore of it, and remember what I said about them worshipping the machine god and so on and so forth. It plays a role into that too, because the Adeptus Mechanicus is, you could consider also it to be like a cult, so, or even a religion, you could say, even so, because they worship the machine god, and that's where the choirs and the organ comes into play. That's the organic side of it, right? The organic side of the track, which is given by the organ and the choirs, tell the story also of the Adeptus Mechanicus, because the organ is about, you know, something religious, a place of worship. You hear an organ and you can be, you know, certainly acquainted or reminded of a place of worship. It can be certainly most probably would be a Christian church, right? A Catholic Christian church. But also, although the Protestant churches play organ, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's a place of worship, right? So You translate that into the Mechanicus, yes, they worship a god too. And the choirs, they have this monastery sort of singing, right? Not necessarily like monasteries in Tibet that they do the throat singing. No, it's more towards, you know, Western European kind of monasteries where you hear the chants towards the Christian god. But in this case, of course, this is the machine god. This is absolutely different. But of course, in Warhammer 40k, not only in the Adeptus Mechanicus faction, you will hear this kind of things, because the Imperium of Man, to a very big degree, is very much inspired by those. The medieval Catholic Church, you know, the places of worship, how they worship the Christian God in this case, and so on and so forth. It's very much inspired by that, but in a very somber, gothic, gloomy, grim, dark kind of way. So that's why I think the balance in between the synthetic elements of a song and the organic elements of a song, even though it's not 50%, doesn't matter if it's not balanced. The real balance is that the 80-20%, let's say, it works for this song because it tells the story of the Mechanicus in such a great way that, you know, it's common sense that it has that kind of balance, let's say. Now, one final thing that I would like to mention is that I loved the chord progressions in this track. I mean, the chord progressions are minor chord heavy, I would say, and that contributes also to the whole, mythos of Warhammer, because so everything in Warhammer 40k is ruinous, grim, dark, really bad. Everything is really bad, and everything is really somber, so very foreboding, and of course, the chord progressions being predominantly being minor chords, at least from what I could hear. And minor chords, I've talked about this before. The least they can be is melancholic. The most they can be is very evil and menacing and mean, let's say. So in this case, it's not necessarily, we're not talking about necessarily about a story of being evil, but certainly a story about a stage in which humanity finds itself in a very somber, dark place, right? In fact, I did play. I was trying to find some of the chords that were played in the song, which I'm going to play right now. Okay, let's see. I think it's. Something along those lines. Wait. Yeah. So yeah, there we have it. I think in general terms, this song was awesome. The storytelling of the song is absolutely accurate towards what the Adeptus Mechanicus is and it's so accurate, I would say, that it not only tells the story of the Adeptus Mechanicus, it also tells the story of the Imperium of Man, and even on a bigger scale, the story of Warhammer 40k. So I think the composer might even be a fan of the whole Warhammer 40k series, or he really did his research, because I hear this and I hear the Adeptus Mechanicus. This was an absolutely fantastic work of art, composition. So I think I'm gonna give this track very, very high golden badge. It's almost a diamond badge, but again, I'm gonna give it a really high golden badge. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.